Hey there, have you ever taken an extended break from your instrument? I just did. 13 days. I haven't touched the horn for almost 2 weeks while I was on vacation. And while I did so guilt-free, I also need to go back to work next week. Now, this isn't something that I regularly do, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to put up a video series over the next week of myself getting back in shape and to give you some ideas, not only of how I do it, how you might be able to do it. Now, there's a couple things we're going to need. First of all, we're going to need a mirror. Trusty mirror. This is a really useful tool, especially when we're getting back ready to play again, getting back into performance mode. Second thing you'll want is some kind of timer. I have this thing called a time timer, which I'm going to set for 15 minutes. And especially for this morning, that's all I want to do is 15 minutes because I want to make sure that I actually am able to last to be able to play a couple of times a day. So this morning session is only going to be 15 minutes. It's my first one, haven't touched the horn. The last thing you might be wondering is, how am I going to do that? Well, the truth is, I don't take regular breaks of 2 weeks. So I'm making this up as I go along. I'm using the best that I understand about how playing works to get myself back into it. Probably the hardest thing to pull out after an extended break was this, my instrument. I love playing, but I also really loved having a break from it. So just emptied my water, so here we go. We are on the 15-minute clock. First thing I'm going to do is just get myself into shape to actually vibrate. We are squeezing flesh between bone and metal. So I'm going to make some shapes on my mouthpiece. Going low, a little bit up, and a little bit down. A little higher. A little more. One more. All right, and now let's find an F. By the way, I'm guiding this so that if you have taken a break, you can play along with this and maybe use this as a tool to get yourself back in. So let's find our middle F here. Okay, I can vibrate that note, and now I'm onto the instrument. So let me make sure my valves are set. Pull that out a little bit. Okay, there we are. All right. And I'm going to play this middle F. Okay, could have been worse. Let's do it again. Yeah. I'm going to go down chromatically. Go down with me. We're going to do an E natural now. E flat. D flat. I'm going to do that again, and my whole point here is to observe my structure and see if my basic structure here of my embouchure looks good, and if I'm blowing air, and all for the purpose of getting a great sound, of course, but keeping in mind on the visual aid of the mirror to help make sure I'm on a really good trajectory. I'm going to do that one more time. you notice, one of the things that I'm doing, and if you're doing it along with me, I'll start referring to it as we're doing. We're starting off with no tongue, just letting the air do the work. That's really invaluable for what we're doing here, is no tongue, keeping things really simple. Sound-wise, I'm going for, say, a mezzo forte to forte dynamic, not too strong. If I had a brilliance, if I had to equate my brilliance on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least brilliant, 10 being the most brilliant, or also the most vibrant fortissimo, I'm hovering probably around a 5, maybe a 6, but probably around 5 land. All right, let's keep going. Once again, no tongue, but now I'm going to incorporate some glissandi, some direct glissandi, and you'll hear it. The F to E. I'll do it once to demonstrate, and then we can do it together. Let's do it together now. F to E flat. F to D. Continue. Go ahead and do that again. This time I'll do F to E once, and then I'll incorporate the tongue for legato tongue. No glissandi on the legato tongue, once without tongue, once with tongue. Moving the slide the same way. M. With tongue. Okay, I feel pretty awful. But you know what? That's okay. Because I expected to feel awful. I did not expect to feel particularly good, and I don't feel particularly good. But sound is happening, and I'm getting a reasonable sound that I want. It just doesn't feel very good. That's okay. All right. I'm also speaking in order to give myself a little bit of a break because, hey, when I haven't been playing for 2 weeks, that's been a good bit amount of time on the horn. All right, we're going to go into something else. I'm going to go ahead and play a B flat major scale, but I'm going to play it up up by 3 degrees at a time. So, Si, Do, Re, rest, and Do, Re, Mi, and Mi, Re, Mi, Fa. That's how I'm going to do this one. Let's keep myself moving. Here we go. 1, 2, nem, ah. let's see how it goes. We're going to go up a little ways more. Start on that middle B flat and continue going up. 1, 2, and up. Or at least as far as I'm going in this session. All right, I'm going to go down now. I'm going to go down from a D and work my way down that scale. I feel like going down one more time. I'm going to take it right from where I was, and I'm going to head my way down to pedal B flat. And 1 from the D, 2, and up. Okay, that was fine. Not particularly comfortable, and but it was fine. And I've got about 2.5 minutes to go here. We've got about 2.5 minutes to go. All right, so let's continue on that scale. Let's go up 4 to 5 notes at a time. So B da 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 dee and B da 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 dee. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Continue there, and I'm going to go down now. 1, 2, and there. I noticed as I did this is I noticed there was a bit of a bump from my F to my G and from my F to my 4th position G. It didn't happen as I descended. I liked the way things worked when I descended. So I'm going to go ahead and do that G to F a couple of times just to reorient myself in the last 10 seconds or so I have. So I am done for this particular session. So 15 minutes, and I'm going to come back again later today. So I'm going to keep this all in one video. So if you're doing this with me, come back. Give yourself 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever. But come back a second time today, and as this video continues. All right, and we're back for round 2. So a little bit later than I expected to be, but you know what matters is that I'm here. What matters is that you're here, especially if you're working with me to get back in shape. So mirror on the stand, ready to go. Also, timer, ready to go. We set ourselves for another 15 minutes, and here we go. All right, so basically leaving where I left off, I'm going to start off to get my face back on this evening. We're going to start off with just a 5-note scale. So going back to B flat major, B da 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 dum, ascending, and then descending. So B da 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 dum, breathe, ba da 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 dum, and breathe, and dee da 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 dum, dee da 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 dum, and so going up by degrees. B flat major scale, 5 notes at a time. Here we go. Somehow my stand's gotten a little messed up. I can't really see myself in my mirror, so I'm going to make a little adjustment. There I go. All right, now I can see what's going on. Bring myself a little higher. And okay, there we go. Okay, good. Now, that feels a whole lot better than we did earlier today. This is one of the reasons we're going to switch to some flexibility. So something simple. So F to B flat. 1, 2, ready, and. I'm going to start off there in 7th position. In 7th position, this time going up 1 partial to mi, sol, mi, sol, mi, sol, mi, sol, mi. 1, 2, 3, and up. I'm going to go a little quicker now and increase the number partial. So, actually, no. That tempo. Starting off in 7th position on a B natural. So B, so C, me, C, me, C, me, C, me, sol, me, sol, me, sol, me, sol, me, C, from that B natural. 1, 2, and good. Now, that wasn't perfect. It didn't feel perfect, but I'm not after perfection. I'm after getting the basic shape. And when I play these faster slurs, I'm able to look at a basic shape. And I'll save perfection for later as I'm getting more comfortable. I'm going to go up one more partial to mi, sol, mi, mi, sol, mi, sol, mi, sol, mi, sol, si, sol, si, sol, si, sol, si, sol, mi. 7th position again. 1, 2, right. Like going up one more partial. So does that mean I'll skip over that flat 7th partial? Absolutely. But it allows me to keep the idea of the arpeggio starting on the 3rd degree. So sol, si, sol, si, sol, si, sol, si, mi, so, mi, so, mi, si, mi, si, sol, mi, si, mi, si, mi, si, mi, si, sol. Hey, my solfege isn't that great. I don't grow up in a solfege culture, but I've learned it. But that's another point for a different day. All right, here we go. 7th position. 1, 2, 3, and comfortable with that. We're going to add a layer of complexity, and now I'm going to start to do some slow slurs descending, particularly from F down to low B flat. And when I say slow slurs, I'll be on the F. I'm going to allow myself to glide down to a B flat. And the way this feels is if we take our mouthpiece and take that F to B flat, that gliding is what we're after in the instrument. And it sounds like this. I'm allowing myself to fall off the note intentionally while looking in the mirror to make sure I'm staying engaged all the way through, not disengaging, not jerking, not getting a that's not constructive. That's not conducive to my getting back into a good form. I'd much rather hear myself fall off that note with a minimal amount of movement. Once again, it's about the effect and getting the result as I'm ready to do so, as I'm getting back into coordination. All right, F, F, B flat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and and breathe. That feels awesome. And I'll get the result I want with the slurs as I get the coordination in a future day, but not today. So I'm going to go start up at a partial higher on the B flat. Do the same thing, descending only. B flat down to F. Ready? Middle B flat down to F. Now 1, 2, 3, and go. Start off one partial higher, the D. Do the same thing and hold on to that D as much as I can while I allow myself to fall off and land on that B flat at the time that I want to land. So D, D, B flat. Oh, 1, 2, 3, and now, for the last set of this, for the last portion of this 15-minute segment, I'm going to do what I just did, but I'm going to do it over all four partials. So, D, and breathe. D, Once again, looking in the mirror, am I staying engaged? Am I staying smooth in my corners? If I'm staying smooth here, then I'm totally getting the skill that I want to have, which is smoothness here to eventually get the sound to be smooth on the inside. But right now, falling off on the inside. Here we go. 1, completes the playing portion. Let's take 90 seconds to go over what we did today. I mentioned at the beginning that I am making this up as I go along. It doesn't mean I don't have a plan. The idea that I have is to go from simple things to more complicated things. Playing long tones, playing just starting off with an F with a mouthpiece shape, really simple, no instrument. Add the instrument, play an F. Okay, then we did chromatic scale from F down to B natural. Then I added a glissando just to get myself used to changing between notes. Once again, no tongue and not a super, a direct slide motion, but not one that's neither jerky nor one that's really a glissando that has a big smear in between. One that connects one note to the next. So we did that. We added tongue, which is a complexity, which has a coordination with tongue and air. But I didn't really want to focus so much on tongue today, so we continued then with a scale that was going up 3 notes at a time. That scale, we went up, we went down, we descended, and then in the later session today, let's see, one of the things I noticed is how I was needed to cover a break from the G to the F in the first session. In the second session, I followed up on that as we went later on. First, we started off with our 5-note scale going up and down, and then we continued with the then we did some flexibility things. The flexibility is there simply because we can get really stiff when we do long tones, as we did in the first session, and I did feel really stiff after the first session. What's the antidote to that? Flexibility, where we're moving, and it was simple flexibility at first, then we expanded to go faster and cover more partials. That really did help loosen things up from the morning's work. So from flexibility, where we had that, we then added the slurs, the slow slurs, where we started to really try to coordinate things. The whole goal in this is to go from simple to more complicated. Is this the only way to do it? Absolutely not. But it is a way to do it, and it's the way I did it today. Come back tomorrow where we can get more in shape tomorrow, and we've already hit the ground running. We're off to a great start. Come back and hope you enjoy the rest of the series. Thanks for joining me.